Okay. Alrighty, so we are getting warmed up here. Hi, everyone. How's your summer going? If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, how's your summer going? Mine's going really well. I'm having a really beautiful summer. It feels good, and I'm just very excited. Let's see who's here with me. I'm waiting to get everything started here. Right. So I'm really excited about today's live stream. I changed the title a little bit because, as I was putting together the text, I realized that I was kind of, and this happens, I make the live stream titles ahead of time. And then when I go to actually really focus on it, I realized that maybe I'm feeling differently about my topic or something like that. So things are a little bit different. So today the subject has changed a bit. And it was originally titled something like, it was something about financial freedom and time wealth. And as I was working through the content, I thought, actually, I'm going to talk about like what to do with your wealth. Because number one, this is a little bit about futurescaping. It's a little bit about thinking about what you are going to do with your wealth in the future. Now, right now you've got your job and you're good at your job and you are, successful. But you're going to go into your own business and you're probably wondering like, well, how am I going to be as financially successful in my business as I am in my work? Am I going to be able to make the same amount of money? Am I going to be able to make more money? What we want is to not make less money, because we want to be able to build our future, not contract. So today we're going to kind of really look at the role that the High Priestess is playing in our lives, because we're continuing this theme. And as we're exploring the High Priestess, this is an opportunity for us to kind of really think about, well, how did the High Priestesses of old behave in their community? What role did they play? And how can we bring some of that ancient wisdom and ancient prowess to our modern day lives? So that's where I am. And let's see if there's anybody who's going to be joining me today. It's Friday. And if you are watching live, please type in #live. And if you watch the replay, please type in #replay. Let me know that you're here and that what I'm talking about is resonating with you. Now, in the meantime, I have just actually a couple of announcements. So let me get to my notes, because if I don't do my notes, then I will get lost. Let's see. Don't tell me I put my notes somewhere else. Don't even tell me that, because it looks like I did. I seem to have put my notes somewhere else. That's okay. So I want to start off and introduce myself. My name is Crystal Lynn Bell. I am a master spiritual life coach and worthiness advocate for women. I am the founder of Badass Butterfly Spiritual Life Coaching, and I help women like you become certified spiritual life coaches with thriving divine coaching businesses. Now, I would love to talk to you about how you can get certified through my training program, and how I can help you build your business from the ground up. This is my passion, it's my specialty, and I would love to talk to you about that. So if this is something that you are wanting to do, please book yourself in for a call with me. Now, the link that Rebecca is putting into the comments, this link will take you to the page where there's a lot of information about my program. And you can read about how I work, read about what my program offers, and you can book yourself in to talk to me more about it. And we can discuss how, what your dream is, what you're looking to do, and how I can help you make that dream real. Now, currently, I have 4 spaces available in my Divine Coaching Coterie. Now, this is an exclusive and intimate way of getting yourself certified. It's you and 3 other women working in this very protected space where you have my attention. We have sessions together, and I take you through the whole curriculum and help you build your business yourself. So if this is interesting for you, I have an offer that I'm running this month. If you sign up before August 28th, you will save $4,000 on that program. All right. So Rebecca is going to put the link for this in the comments. So just grab that link, read up about the program, and let's talk. Okay. So now is a really good time for you to be getting started on building your business. By this time next year, you could actually have your business up and running with clients, and you could be, figuring out your next big idea is, how do I let go of my 9-to-5 job so I can be working more in my private business and less on my job? And that's a very exciting prospect. So getting down to business, here in the League of Badass Butterflies, we are talking about the High Priestess archetype that is functioning inside all of us. Now, today, I want to explore how you can use that ancient, wise energy to help you manifest wealth, and how you can manifest wealth for yourself, of course, but also how you can use that wealth to impact your community and create a more beautiful landscape for your healing community and tribe. Okay, so that's going to be our goal for the day. So I'm going to check in and see if I've got anybody here with me. Again, if you are watching live, type in #live, and if you're watching the replay, then #replay, okay? Now, back in the day, okay, I always think, when I think about the High Priestess archetype, I immediately think about the High Priestesses of Greece, and the Greek pantheon of deities. That for me is a very exciting time. That's what I've studied, and that's where my kind of forte is. So that's what comes to my mind. And back then, the priestesses had a very strong role, not just for religion, but for society and politics, okay? So the priestess and the priest, but we're talking about the priestess, she was revered for her wisdom, her intuition, and her knowledge of magic and the esoteric arts. So she played a vital role, not just in serving religion, but also in serving the wealthy. And her influence was not just spiritual, but she was influential in politics, culture, and finances, okay, prosperity. What the goddess saw is what people took to heart, okay? What was happening with the goddess came through the High Priestess. And the High Priestess was revered for this. And what she said was taken very, very seriously. So there are 3 major areas where the High Priestess had influence in ancient times. So number one is she acted as the spiritual advisor to the elite class, right? So these were the rulers, these were the people who were making decisions, making policy, And, they were in control of the land, they were in control of the fortune of, the community. And the high priestess was the intermediary between the divine and the mortal being. Okay. She was the one who was in meditation all day in the temple, and she was in communication with the gods and goddesses. And so she bridged the gap between the earthly realms and the heavenly realms, okay, the celestial realms. This made her really important. And she was reading the will of the gods and translating that to the rulers, okay? So she had to do rituals, she had to do ceremonies to make sure that the people who listened to her, who came to her, she had to make sure that the gods favored these elite people so that they would stay in power and their riches would stay safe. So they would support her, they would contribute to her causes, and she in turn would intercede on their behalf, making sure that the gods saw these elites in a favorable light. Okay, now the next thing that the next role that she had with that, which was very, very important, was that she was the keeper of sacred knowledge. So she had to be very well studied. The high priestess needed to know some things, okay? She needed to know, obviously, the language of the gods and the language of energy, and she needed to know the language of the landscape. She also needed to know the feeling of energy. She needed to know healing. She needed to know how to receive downloads from above, and she also needed to know how to share this knowledge so that other priestesses could continue to help her, but also to spread the good word, so to speak. Okay, very, very important role that she had as the keeper of sacred knowledge. She had to embody this knowledge. She had to use this knowledge. She had to be accountable for it. She had to spread this knowledge. Okay. And then the third thing that she had to do was she needed to be a patron. She was a patron of the arts and culture. So she was not just a spirit guide, but again, she was kind of a purveyor of trends and ideas, right? So many people came through the temple asking for favor and asking for protection and seeking help. The temple was at the center of life in communities. And so a lot of what was happening came to her. So she was just very aware. The high priestess was very, very aware. And she had the influence and the ability to bring wealthy patrons of art and culture, musicians, painters, or sculptors, artisans of different types, metal workers, goldsmiths, all kinds of things, right? Tapestry workers, textile workers. She had the ability to bring the artisans in touch with the elite. Again, so much was happening to her through her. And as I was studying this and tuning into this, I'm going to just kind of throw this out there as a little bit of a taboo. You all know that I love my taboos. But I often wonder about sexuality and sexual favors as well. I know that, when we look, we're not talking about the Christian faith here or the Jewish faith or the Islamic faith. We're talking about the kind of energy that came before those things, where through the mysticism of the gods and the goddesses, a lot of those relationships were sexual in nature. And so just today, as I was kind of sitting down, putting the final touches on today's talk, I thought, I wonder if the high priestess was on some level doing some sexual work herself, because sexual magic is really an important part of making things happen in this world. And I know that in many traditions, in the Celtic traditions, and a lot of those traditions that are very much connected to the landscape, to the earth, there was a lot of sexual magic that was happening. The high priestess and the high priest coming together at Beltane, for spring, for rebirth, and spreading his seed across the land so that there was fertility. Yes. So I'm saying yes to my own theory, even though I haven't looked that up. I betcha that's a yes. Just checking. Just checking in to make sure I'm not offending anyone here. Very good, but I think you all get it. So the high priestess was not only a guardian of the mysteries, okay, she was also a conduit of the divine, and she was able to serve poor people, of course, in her community, but she also served the elite people in her community, and this made her very much connected and valuable and an asset, and she had so much worth. The high priestess is incredibly powerful. That's the point that I want to make. So for you as a female life coach, you are using the high priestess energy, and you can use your wealth as a catalyst for positive change in not just your life, but in the life of your community. And that's what we're really talking about today. You can use your wealth to foster growth and connection between different realms. And you can also, just as you embrace your role as the high priestess, you can also facilitate spiritual evolution for yourself, for the individuals in your community, and for your community at large, okay? All right, now, I want to remind you that the idea, right now we're in a 7-year, this is the year 2023, and this is a 7-year, and the 7 in numerology represents like an administrative approach to spirituality. What does that mean, an administrative approach to spirituality? Well, it means cleaning up your act. So this is a great year to formalize your spirituality, to get more sharp and precise with your rituals, to get more organized or more structured around your divine coaching, around your meditation practice, around your journaling, around your healing work. So this is a really good time for you to be working on taking an administrative approach to your spirituality. The number 7 is very, very spiritual, but it's also organized and structured. It likes organization and structure. It doesn't really value disorganized stuff and chaos. That is not actually helpful for the number 7. As a matter of fact, chaos and disorganization are harmful to the number 7. And right now, if you are wanting to become a spiritual life coach, now is a great time to do that, because this number 7 year is going to help you bring your ideas down from the heavens. So all the divine feminine creative ideas that you get that can normally be very scattered, the number 7 of this year is going to help bring things into form. So now is a much easier time for us to be working on our businesses, which is why I really want to invite you and encourage you to talk to me now about how to go about getting your business started. So again, Rebecca will put the link in the comments for you. But now is a great time to be looking at your business, thinking about your business, and taking action on your business. So if you haven't done anything toward your business yet, now is the time to start. Now, the role that a spiritual life coach plays today in the world is really similar to that of the high priestess in ancient times. And of course, there's so many differences. There's cultural context, there are religious practices, and you can be any kind of coach you want, okay? But the thing that's important is this: both of these guides serve, well, both of these women serve as guides. Okay, so a coach is a guide. The high priestess is a guide. Okay, both are mentors. Both are sources of wisdom. Both need to pay attention to the people in their community. They have to be listeners. They have to be able to feel and read. They are facilitators and helpers of those people who are in need of assistance, okay? People who want to develop themselves personally, people who want to get deeper into life's mysteries, all right? Both a spiritual life coach and a high priestess are going to do that for you. That's your job. That's our job. So I want to share with you right now 4 ways that you can embody the high priestess, okay? And I want to just kind of talk a little bit more about this. So how can you embody the high priestess in your divine coaching business? So I would say, like, the number 1 thing would be to accept the role as spiritual advisor to people who are seeking divine connection, right? So just like the high priestess in the olden times, the wealthy came to her, the elite came to her because they wanted to hold on to their wealth and they wanted to gain more power. She knew what the planets were doing. She knew what the seasons were doing. She could give them advice. Well, you're in the same position, okay? You can offer wonderful advice to people from all walks of life. Thank God it doesn't have to just be to the elite, but you will. People in power will come to you. But the beautiful thing is that the high priestess also served people who did not have so much money. There were people who would come to her and they would trade, corn and food. They'd bring their apples, or they would offer her whatever they could so that she could get their blessings. She could give them medicine, all these kinds of things. It's really quite beautiful, the role that she plays and the role that you play, right? So giving people solutions to help them navigate challenges, helping them connect to source, super important, all right? Now, as a spiritual life coach, and I know this is true about you because I see this in all my people, you all love learning about spiritual stuff, right? And the high priestess, of course, loves learning about spiritual stuff. Of course, she got it. She learned, because in the old days, high priestesses, or that energy, the esotericism, the medicine, was passed down through the oral tradition, right? So that knowledge that she gained, she couldn't let it die with her. She had to pass it on. So what we do today, we don't want our knowledge to die with us. We want to pass it on. So we do it a little bit differently. She might train the priestesses and give them, teach them in the oral tradition as well. But what do we do today? We make videos, we write books, we write blogs, we make lists, we make classes and all these kinds of things. We make charts, we make lists, we make downloads. MP3s, podcasts, all these things are ways to take your knowledge, to organize it. That's very important, organizing your knowledge, and then passing it on to your clients or to people who you want to teach. Very much like right now, I'm doing a live stream that is helping you. You're learning, you're receiving, boom, it's the same thing. All right. Personal growth is another way that the high priestess, now in ancient times, the high priestess would help people expand their fortunes. And that was the thing that people were really, really focused on back then. These elites were coming to the high priestess because they were concerned about their soul, for sure. But more than anything, they were concerned about their standing in the community. In today's world, many people are less interested or less preoccupied with coming to you so that they can expand beyond their social status. They're much more interested in really coming to you for your connection to the divine, because they want to grow personally. They want to develop themselves as humans. We have time and safety in our world today. So personal development, personal growth is much more significant than it was 2,000 years ago. Let's face it. People were much more concerned about life and death and disease back then than we are today. Okay. So today your clients are coming to you because they want you to inspire them to be more than what they are, not so that they can change social status, but so that they can live up to their greatest potential. And that's kind of one of the beautiful things that we get to do. We get to help people do that. And the last thing that I have is about being a facilitator of connection. So as you know, historically, most religions don't let their clergy or their, I think I said that wrong. Sorry. What are the people called that go to the church? There's a word that has left my mind. So sorry, can't remember what it is. Don't know what the word is that I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is this. As a member of the church, and as a member of many churches, you don't have a way of getting directly to the God themselves. And this was very true also in ancient times, ancient Greece, ancient Rome, with these gods. You would be treading on thin ice if you approached Mars or Zeus or Hera without the priestess as an intermediary, okay? So there's a little difference, because here's a spiritual life coach. Our job is not to be the intermediary between the mortal and God or source, but to be the door opener, right? So where your client is very likely a little bit cut off from God, that's why they're coming to you. Yeah, they have a relationship with source, but their ego is blocking their true connection to source. I mean, that's how it basically comes down 99% of the time when I'm working with people. And what I do as a coach is I help them move the ego out of the way so that that person has a pure relationship with the divine. So the difference is my clients, as a spiritual life coach, your clients don't need you to help them they don't need you in order to reach God. You help them move away their ego so that they can reach God in a more pure way. I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, you all let me know, okay? All right. Now, so we know, you've learned, I've shown you that you and the high priestess have a lot of things in common, okay? And what I want to do is I want to wrap up our discussion by talking about what to do with your wealth. Because look, let's face it, you all are just starting out, and in your first couple of years as a coach, you're going to make some money. All right. By your third year of coaching, you're probably going to be making $100,000 a year. All right. At $100,000 a year, you've got plenty of expendable income, and you have a good business. Okay. You got a good business, and you want to be thinking about how you can grow your business, but also how you can expand your community and how you can use your wealth wisely and generously, how you can be, and charitably even. So what I've got for you are, I've got 7 ways that you can use your wealth to expand your spiritual community. So I'm going to just whip through these real quick, and then I'm going to let you go. All right. So the first thing would be to invest in education, right? So whether it's your own education, that's a worthwhile investment. All right. But also whether you are creating investment opportunities in your community, whether it's for young people to get yoga training as a part of, their growing process, or whether it's helping, women who, like single parents, male or female, to have some kind of, esoteric knowledge that would help them improve their lives. What a powerful offering. What a powerful way to spend your wealth and to give back to your community. Wonderful. Number 2, I have a thing down here that says networking and collaboration. So if you can bring people together to help facilitate, and what's coming to my mind as I'm saying this and as I'm writing this, you have your clients, and that's great. But also, like, as a spiritual coach, you have access to a lot of spiritual healers. So for me, I've got access to lots of yogis, lots of Reiki masters, lots of musicians, lots of painters, jewelry makers, right? And investing in them and investing in their collaborative events is a wonderful way to spread prosperity through your community. It helps these artists who maybe don't necessarily make as much money as you do or as you will. As a coach, you're going to make, maybe $300 an hour, and maybe the yogis are only making $25 to $30 an hour. Well, when you can create opportunities for them to get exposure, to, grow their tribe, to promote their ideas, and to bring them together with other people, it's just a really incredible way to spread wealth and prosperity and to help a sister out, okay? My third place is to cultivate healing spaces. And I had a studio back in Long Beach, and I loved having my studio. It was a wonderful way. It was just wonderful having people coming to my studio doing what they do, you know. We had, again, jewelers, we had aromatherapists coming through, we had acupuncturists who worked there, we had herbalists who were there. They were giving classes in my space. We were doing tea ceremonies, teaching astrology, teaching sacred geometry. We were doing so much stuff. And providing a space like that was it was a wildly beautiful experience. And I'm very happy that I invested and created that type of a space. So again, another, creating the space to bring all these artisans together is so freaking powerful. Also supporting emerging leaders. This is my fourth item. And you can provide mentorship, teaching opportunities, trainings for people who are doing the same thing you do. Of course, you're going to provide training to your clients, but you can also mentor people into the work that you do, which I think is really fun and exciting. It's an exciting way to spread the wealth. Doing all sorts of charitable initiatives, right? So allocating some of your wealth to go to charity, whatever it is, whether it's in your spiritual community, in your spiritual community, how many people who don't have enough to eat, let alone your secular community, just in your neighborhood, how many people don't have enough to eat? How many families are struggling? How many single moms are out there, and how many families have lost a parent, and they're finding themselves dealing with grief and heartache and loss, and trying to function and get their bills paid. There's so much opportunity for you to create some kind of a charitable aspect with your wealth. Let's see, what's next on my list? That was number 5, by the way. Here's number 6. I have down here empowering underrepresented voices. So are there any marginalized groups or people within your community? Now, look, I'm talking a lot about spiritual communities, and you can see where there are marginalized people in your spiritual community. I see a lot of people who are raging against the world. They're in my spiritual community, but they don't feel like they belong on this earth, and they are struggling in the 3D world. A lot of my time goes to creating support for those kinds of people who have the mindset of, I don't belong on this planet. I need to go somewhere else. I need, and they're struggling, they can't make money. They're having fallouts with their relationships. They're suffering in so many ways. And helping them to find some kind of stability is really, really important, and a very good thing to do. So finding those people in your community that are struggling and need some help, and just figuring out how you can offer them help, finding out where their strengths are and sending work their way is one way. If you can bring them into your sphere and seeing how you can help them, that's also very helpful. But the idea is to kind of keep your eyes open and to do something that you can to be of service. It goes a long way in spreading wealth, the wealth of love, the wealth of money. But it just does your own heart very good to do that. And the last thing is about creating sustainable growth, right? So figuring out how to channel your wealth into long-term investments that can actually grow your wealth in the long haul. Obviously, investing in your own business and making sure that your own business thrives, investing in yourself so that you can thrive, that's super important, okay? But seeing how you can do that by investing in other companies and seeing what kinds of companies that are even out there that are public companies, like on the stock market, that are trading that you can invest in. You like their ethics, you like the way they promote things, you like their structure, you like the way they treat their company, their employees. That's a super powerful way to create sustainable wealth for yourself, which of course can be reinvested and but can also support the entrepreneurial community in a different way, you know, spiritually, energetically, and financially. All right. So, you all, that is it for me. I want to remind you that on Tuesday, we have our big masterclass, and the subject for that is your corporate escape plan. So, the 6 powerful mindset shifts you must make to launch your coaching adventure, your divine coaching adventure. So this is about how do you get your mindset ready so that you can actually launch your business. All right. So that's what we're doing next Tuesday. I look forward to seeing you there. We'll be in for a full hour on that day, maybe a little bit more. But I look forward to seeing you. And of course, if you are ready to talk about getting started in your business, let's talk. And the link to join my chat would be in the comments. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward